Before we start, I want to mention that I do not have a direct benefit from recording this video. And it's funny because my team actually asked me not to do that. But the reason why I started this YouTube channel is primarily to get me out there, not to get the business. 90% of the money that flows into my companies right now come from either paid ads, partnership network, or referrals. Of course, YouTube acts like a great source of truth and the backend that the people can verify, but doesn't bring me that many leads. So I'm posting content not only to have the credibility, but also to share what I think and share what I like, to find people who think the same way and maybe help some of you to make important decisions in your life. Because throughout my journey after quitting hockey until this day, there were quite a few interesting coincidences that happened because people share different ideas with me, and I kind of want to do the same thing. I sell AI solutions to businesses. Of course, I sell them in a variety of ways. First of which is the agency, which is called Quimple, that I started more than 2 years ago. The other side is the one prompt, where we have our sales system that we license and sell to businesses. But generally speaking, I think that the AI service market is going to be dead very soon, and it's already dying. And I want to share my thoughts. I know that for some of you it's gonna be the new information, but some of you will not agree with what I have to say, and you're okay to share your thoughts in the comments. I reply always to everything. I never delete any comments, and I would love to hear your thoughts. On the YouTube right now, it's kind of a trend to post things that are controversial, saying that AI agents are dead, AI agencies are dead, start X, Y, and Z. But there is something deeper going on here that I want to explain. You are on this channel watching this video probably because you're fascinated about the AI industry. And this is what probably bring you here. You thought that, and you're still thinking that, because this is the technology that is going to change the world, you can easily make money with it, and you can build a business around it. Which is half true. This is not the statement that you want to attach yourself into. So the fact that AI is going to change the world, it already does, but what we're gonna see in the next 5 to 10 years, it's unbelievable. It's hard to imagine what's gonna happen. But this statement that AI is going to change the world and the fact that you can make money with it are not directly correlated. And you can think about this as oil. The oil is the commodity that ruled the world, but it's kind of hard to make money with it if you're not trading it right now. Now, when the oil was originally discovered, of course, you had much more opportunities to get into this rush. Same thing with the gold rush. But you needed to have some prerequisites to get started the actual business within the space, because it's not as easy as just going and digging a fucking hole somewhere. And this is just a good illustration of when there is a product that is needed by the market, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to sell it or you can extract the value from it. So if we deeply think about what are we selling? Okay. Are we selling AI? Are we selling solutions? Are we selling like problem-solving things? You will realize that it is about the same exact problems that the businesses were having for the past 100 years. And again, I don't want to sound like a cop, like it's super obvious for some of you, but again, right now I want to go very deep, like as deep as possible, into understanding the behavior of the buyers who you are trying to attract. If you want to make money selling AI can come in the form of building a startup for the B2C industry, for the consumers, building a startup for the businesses, providing the services, doing the consulting, having a product, selling it to businesses, whatever. But here we're talking about the B2B space. That's why we're going to focus on that topic for now. And when it comes to the B2B, you are fixing the same problems that the businesses fix and try to fix throughout their existence. But AI is just a tool that is going to make the problem solving more efficient. So let's say that there's like an AI receptionist. I had a call yesterday with the guys who were saying things like, "Hey Eugene, real call. We tried a lot of things. We know how to build. We learned the voice AI tools. We learned NLN. We learned Lovable, create our own custom interfaces. We tried to reach out to some clinics and to some spa within the US. The guys are in Miami. But they didn't get back to us. They're like not interested. They're always saying that, hey, I mean, cool, but we don't need it." So we were like trying to kind of sell it, but no one got interested. And we're like now thinking about maybe switching the niche, or like not sure what to do because we can build things, but like not understanding how to sell it. I think it sounds familiar, right? And of course, there's a lot of things that can be said about this specific statement. First, starting with the fact that your reach out to the companies doesn't necessarily can be valued as a proper statistical measurement, because you haven't done enough volume to see the results and make the conclusions about a specific niche. But fine. Let's think about the receptionist. Okay, everyone's talking about it, so whatever. Okay, let's get this as an example. Why the fuck the business will buy an AI receptionist from you? Okay, so they probably have the receptionist, right? So if the business has the receptionist, okay, they already have it. They have a human who is, let's say, answering the phone calls and emails, okay? So you're coming in and say, hey, we can build you the tool that will kind of replace this dude, which is positioning number one. The position number 2 is, hey, we are going to put a system that is going to answer the calls when this guy is not on his desk. So out of office hours. And you're pitching it to the business. Now, does this solution make sense? Do both of these solutions make sense? Do both of these solutions fix a problem? Now, the answer is it depends. Because it depends on who you're talking with. But let's go deeper, guys. Like, please, try to think with your own brain. Don't just try to sell AI receptionists because some guy on the YouTube like me or the bro on LinkedIn started to post the case studies that he sold a shit for like a few $1,000s, okay? The business is having the problem with the fact that they receive the phone calls and these phone calls needs to be answered, okay? So this problem, because it's gonna be a missed revenue, okay? I mean, of course, like some people can come in like the physical location and get a booking, but most of them gonna have the call. So they're making the calls. If no one is responding, you're losing revenue. So you don't want to do that, okay? That's why the freaking receptionists were created. Okay, so they are fixing this problem with this receptionist. And they've been doing that for over what? I don't know, like what, 50 years? How long phones exist? 70 years? I don't know. So you come in and you present a new solution. But a lot of you forget that they already fixed this problem. They might fix it good, bad, but they probably are fixing it. But if they're not fixing it, it means that they don't have this problem. A lot of the people right now in the space trying to fix the problems that do not exist and create the solutions to fix the problems that do not exist. So when you're replacing the existing problem-solving solution, you are going to be compared to this specific human. That is why you get objections like, okay, but how efficient it is? Can it connect with our booking management system that was built in 1995 that doesn't have API endpoints? Can it identify that the customer is angry and make sure that he's properly handled? You're getting compared on that, not even talking about the actual price and the value. So then, okay, if you're thinking, well, we don't want to replace it completely because not only it's hard from the technical standpoint, but also from the fact that there are relationships within the companies. And some of you folks forget that we're not living in the TikTok apps, okay? We have real lives. We have real people around us. We go to the job, okay? We talk to people. So we really want that the people around us and the environment around us is good enough for us to enjoy the life at best. So you don't want to fire this Susie, who is a part of the team fixing the problem for the business. Now, of course, this is not the statement to tell you that AI fucking receptionist doesn't make any sense because, for example, for the out of office hours, it's much easier because the Suzy is not handling it. Sure. But why? Does the business is so stupid that it doesn't understand that they need to hire another Suzy? Like, this is the obvious problem, that they are missing the revenue because of the fact that they are not answering the calls out of office hours, right? Have you ever thought why some grocery stores are open 24/7 and some are getting closed at 10 p.m.? Don't the business owners of these stores know that if they are open 24/7, they can get more customers? Besides all the local regulations, putting it aside, it's all about the costs. So you know that for the facility to work, you need to spend X amount of money. And you probably think that it's not worth it to spend that money to get an additional revenue that is not going to cover that money. That is why, if the business wants to hire another Suzy, they will pay this Suzy money who's going to answer all the phone calls out of office hours. That is why they're not doing that, because it's probably not worth it. So you come in, say, hey, we're gonna build you the digital Suzy who's gonna answer all these phone calls out of office hours. Is this a problem for the business? Yes. Do they solve it? No. Why? Because it's expensive. So what is your solution? Your fucking solution is not the AI receptionist. Your solution is Suzy without the payroll on $97 a month. An example. So this is a good offer. And this is what businesses will buy. I mean, same thing applies with the receptionist. No one is telling you that you cannot sell this generally replacement of the Suzy, the digital replacement of the Suzy. Yes, it's hard, but technically this is a bigger problem to solve because this business has this problem. This is the problem number one, to answer all of the phone calls. And the problem number two is to answer the phone calls out of the office hours. But you have other obstacles. So your solution not only need to be able to replace Suzy entirely, but also have such a good benefits that will override the fact that Suzy is a physical human and she's like working at the company and building the culture, okay? So even if your solution will be exactly the same as Suzy, it needs to be so much better so that the business see the value in money more than the value in the actual human. And this is how you actually try to go deep into what you're solving. You are, my friends, who are learning automations. For the most part, learning the things that cannot be really applied to the business. Now, I want to, unfortunately for you, want to go even further. This might be understandable for you. Maybe this is not the new info. Okay? You know that the problem needs to be solved. Cool, AI, so I will learn voice AI. Here is the bad part. This problem, this Suzy problem, the digital SUSE problem or the out-of-office SUSE will be solved by the AI startups from Y Combinator, who are raising $10 to $100 million to build digital SUSEs for each and every industry. Where are you in this chain of problem-solving solutions? Where are you? If these digital SUSE problems will be solved by these startups. And you can say that it is not possible. You need a custom builds, you need the functions, you need the connections. No one gives a fuck, okay? Most of the problems, most of them, will be fixed by the software companies. Now, of course, as a side note, if you're now gonna think that, oh, okay, but on Lovable, it's very easy to build AI startup, so let me build a startup. Bro, like, you serious? No, it's not gonna work, because there's a million people who are like thinking the same thing, okay? So this is a loop. Don't you think that there's so many startups popping up here and there, left and right, every goddamn day? Like, have you thought of, like, why? Because there are a lot of these problems, like the digital SUSE problems, a lot of them, hundreds, maybe thousands. And the startup owners think and believe that their in-the-box software type of the solution can fix these problems. And for the 90% of the problems that technically, in theory, should be or can be solved with the AI, the startups that charge 20 to whatever, like $9.97 a month, gonna be able to solve. But that's why a lot of people make the startup, try to make the startup, because right now, making the startup, the lure of launching your software is getting lowered and lowered every day with these no-code tools. Now, I'm not saying that these no-code tools will ever replace developers. Probably not. This is a topic for another day. But what I'm saying, at least the MVP, you can build pretty fast and you can test it out. So you're learning the freaking VAPI and Retail and Synflow and whatever, and then thinking that, cool, I will build it for the businesses. Sure, but how about the business will build it themselves? This is a very controversial point. I know businesses don't have skills, businesses don't have time. Now, of course, these platforms usually right now, are focused on the developers like us to then implement it to the businesses. But businesses are getting smarter and smarter every day, every month, every week. It's just the natural growth. Plus, the actual startups are popping up left and right that are just, wireframes on top of the existing backend providers that are going to be able to deploy any type of the agent within one click. So the business comes in, say, hey, we have the SAP Business One ERP system that we need to connect it to. At some point of time, SAP will have their MCP server or their specific documentation for the AI agents. And then they're just gonna go into a software that is offering the $97 per month subscription, who is specifically built for the business that has X amount of employees in the X industry with the Susie on the front desk, they're going to say, okay, this is Susie, this is what she does, this is SAP, connected, it's going to be able to do that. Now, this is a fantasy, of course, but this is going to be the thing in the near future. Guys, I'm not finished with the pessimism that I'm gonna throw at you. There is a solution to that. And I'm not saying that making money selling custom automations is not possible. I just want you to be realistic. Quit thinking like a 10-year-old who's gonna, wonder how to make money with the AI by just learning the automations. You need to understand the core problem that you are solving. You need to understand how the business is currently solving this problem and where are your edges. This is called an edge. You can call it a leverage. Where are these use cases where the business will not be able to build this shit? Now, again, this is a good example with the SAP. Until the business who's running on top of the SAP and the SAP itself is going to create the MCP server, and there will be a provider who's having a direct integration with that. Until this happens, if this business wants to solve this problem, and they won't if there is a more efficient solution, there is you that can offer an alternative. But you need to understand who you are competing with. If you are reaching out to the clinic who already pretty tech savvy, I mean, let's say they're using a really good CRM, they're having their own industry specific management system that is already thinking about AI, that they already implementing it on the back end. So the only thing that is left is for them to release it to the customers, and the customers will be able to just integrate it and replace Suzy. So until this happens, sure, you can pitch the solutions. But again, you'll be faced with an objection of saying that, hey, but we are having our system that is probably already reviewing the ways how we can integrate the AI. So why would we go with your solution if we can do it internally within our system? Now, internally, it still needs to be implemented by someone, but it's just on another level of the cost. And so you can create a multiverse of variants, how potentially pitch it out, present it out, but it all comes down eventually to how efficient your solution is, efficient in terms of the time and money. So it doesn't matter, okay, I guess if this solution, their internal solution, will be another $500 a month for them, but if you come in and say, okay, it's gonna cost you $100 and we're gonna do everything for you, they're gonna go with it. But you need to be smart about the way you present it. That is why most people don't find the success in the industry, because they don't know what problems they're solving, and they don't know if the business is actually having these problems. And to give you another example is, let's say, the funnels, like the sales funnels that most of us are having within our agency, consulting business, or whatever. So the funnel consists of, let's say, multiple pages, opt-ins, and then the sequence of actions that is gonna lead for the people to buy a product or something. So we, for example, one of the solutions within the one prompt that we sell and we license to others is the self-selling funnel, where there are agents deployed across this funnel that are increasing the conversions of the cold traffic, that are engaging with all the people that come in, that are booking appointments, qualifying and educating people, that are then following up with them and eventually close, pre-close, before the actual human closing, and run their referral campaigns. This is the solution based on the one problem that all funnels have: conversion rate. Again, the conversion rate could be conversion rate from the cold traffic to your opt-in form, to the booking form, to the low ticket purchase, to the high ticket purchase, to the service purchase. It doesn't matter. Generally the conversion. So now you can think, okay, Eugene, but okay, so how is it different from the receptionist? No. Within our system, we have the receptionist, which is basically the inbound AI caller, which is not used by most companies, but we also have the outbound caller. And what you are basically seeing here is the way we are presenting it to the clients, where even though this is a solution, like the agent consists of multiple agents, the sequence of agents, army of fucking agents that are built on the platforms that can be easily learned, that have their own AI building capabilities, and aka the business can come in and create any agent. It works together to get the conversion up. And this is the problem that we're trying to solve. And I'm just giving you this example to illustrate the complexity of the problem. Let me repeat it one more time. Complexity of the problem that you are trying to solve. There is a guy on YouTube, his name is Alex Becker. He built multiple companies, one of which is called Hyris, the company that is building a tracking software, which is pretty good. And here, he explains the software game from his point of view, where he built a software which is fixing a problem for the people who are selling something online in terms of the tracking, and platforms not giving you, like Facebook and Google, not giving you the correct tracking information in the most efficient way possible that drives more money to these businesses. But the very important point that he made is that companies are not replicating his business model as successfully as they could or they wanted to, because it is a complex problem to solve. You are my AI warriors thinking that you will kind of do the AI consultancy, AI development on the end-to-end solutions. You will become AI fucking growth operator god. Guess what? This is not as hard to learn, okay? Now I know that this video will get 10 views, but out of the 10 views, maybe there will be a few guys that are still watching this video right now, I'm talking to you, who have a really good experience in consulting industry. Maybe you are 40 plus years old, have the business background, and currently, or in the past, consulting companies on the business operations. Okay? And you're thinking again, fucking AI consultancy. Now, sure, for the guys like you, I think it's an awesome choice, but it depends on what type of the business that you want to build. Again, I'm not claiming that I know everything. I'm just talking with you from the simple business-oriented logic that can be understood by a 5-year-old. You are not solving the problem to the business as efficient as they would want it to, because you do not have experience of solving this specific problem with the solution that you're trying to present. Meaning, if you are trying to help them with the automation integrations, bro, AI is here for only 2 years. No one understands what the fuck is going on. So, you learned the basics, you learned the potential ways of integrating the solution, but you probably haven't worked on enough projects to understand that there are very important nuances, like I was explaining with this user example. So for you to deliver the efficient consultancy services, you need to have the experience of solving these problems, not in the general consultancy business operations, but rather within this industry, because this industry is very different. It's moving differently, and the problems that will be solved by the AI will be solved in a lot of different ways, from the agencies to the softwares primarily. And it is not hard to learn complexity of the problem. Why you? So why would I hire you as a consultant? Like why? Like why? Because you have what? You what have? Like 20 years of experience in previous consultancy? Sure. Again, you can probably sell it. Bro, like you can. Like if you have the experience, if you've been in the space, you're probably not gonna watch me because I'm too informal for you. You like the guys that are wearing the suits and talking politely. But okay, sure. You can sell it. But you're probably not gonna be able to build a whole business around it. At least not right now, or at least not very fast, or at least not how you expect, because this problem that you're trying to fix is just basically the problem of not knowing what AI tools to use. Okay? And this can be learned by any kid in anywhere in the world where they have access to the YouTube. Okay? Now you can say, yeah, sure, but I have the business operations understanding and how to like efficiently do the thing. Yeah, sure. So when you're consulting the businesses on how they would assemble the team inside, how they would create the culture, if you're like an HR consultancy agency, whatever, if you're a BizOp, if you're making them to cut the cost without like losing the EBITDA, whatever. So if you are solving a specific problem for the business, or if you used to solve that, you've been solving it with the specific with a set of frameworks that can be only learned with the experience. But this is different because you're not learning the problem-solving mechanics, since this industry is still very new. And what you're basically providing is a source of truth for like what platforms to use or where AI can be potentially integrated. Sure, it's up to you to identify how much businesses are going to pay for it and if you're going to be able to build a sustainable business. That was a side note. Going back into the actual complexity of the problem. The reason why I was sharing the final example is because this is the problem that is complex enough to be very hardly solved by one or two tools. You do not have a capability to plug in one agent or one software and solve all the potential pain points that would resolve in the business having lower funnel conversion. And sure, you can say, okay, but the funnels are usually built on the like click funnels, on the high level, on the active campaign, or any software. And so these softwares are obviously integrating their own AI funnel agents that are like going through the like whatever. But this is now becomes a more complex setup. Plus, when it comes to the complex funnels, when it comes to the businesses that are making more than $100,000 per month, it is more complex than that. That is why our self-selling funnel that we're using ourselves and that we're selling within the one prompt is actually selling a core problem for the businesses in terms of the conversion rate. And they are ready to pay money for it because it directly makes them more money. Okay, you can say, Eugene, okay, going back to this UZ example, are they currently solving this problem? The answer is no. Okay, the answer is yes, but the no, because this problem cannot be solved. And this is maybe one of the most important points for you to remember after watching this video is the problem that you want to fix should be the problem that cannot be fully solved if you want to build a service-based business. If you want to build a startup, sure, SaaS is very good for you to choose a problem that can be fixed, like a user problem. Because this user problem is having the phone calls, and you can solve this problem by answering all phone calls. But you cannot solve the problem of the conversion because conversion can always be improved. This user cannot be infinitely improved. That is why you do not have the edge of charging premium for the problem that is solving the Susie being in the physical location as a receptionist. Okay? Same thing applies with the lead generation campaigns and everything related to making companies more money. When you're saying, okay, I'm gonna tackle local businesses and I will sell them the chatbot. I will sell them automation for X, Y, and Z. What is the problem that the local landscaping company has? They can have multiple problems. So there is no one solution or no one video or one statement that will cover the entire spectrum of the problems that they might face. That is why the possibilities of the AI industry are endless, which still in 90% will be covered by the existing softwares, but the 10% is still probably not billions, trillions of the dollars sitting on this 10%. So sure, but you still need to understand like what specifically you're trying to solve. And the biggest problem that you're trying to solve that cannot be fully solved is the amount of money that you're trying to help the business to make. So you'll say, okay, yeah, we will build a chatbot, the agent that will help them to make more money by answering all the leads. Okay, sure. Is this the problem? Like, think about this from the business perspective. Okay, again, there is a business. The business is running the Facebook ads. Okay, so they're generating leads. Okay, so they're not following up with the leads, you're saying. Okay, and you're going to build the follow-up agent. By the way, we are selling this also, which is called the engagement agent within the one prompt, as a part of the self-selling funnel for the businesses, which is the solution to engage with the leads. But I'm going to explain how we do that and how you should think about like solving this problem. Leads. Don't you think that probably, if this is the business that is making money and is not broke, like the founder is not brain dead, so he probably understands that they're not following up with the leads, so they're losing the money. He knows that. So he either solved this problem with, let's call this guy Adam, okay, with Adam, or the business owner doesn't solve this problem because he thinks that hiring Adam will be more expensive and not cost efficient, and it's better to lose this amount of money to then pay more money to the Adam to follow up with all the leads. But the majority of the people are gonna sit on this spectrum where there is Adam. Adam is not perfect. Adam is doing the job and following up with the leads. Now, this Adam can be from this Facebook ad type of the business source where there is a business who's running the ads for this business, aka the agency, who's going to provide the Adam to work with all these leads. So you, when pitching the solution to the company, you first need to understand how they are generating the demand. And picture this. I'm telling you this from my personal experience because, again, I work with a lot of the agency owners who are getting our solution and reselling to their existing clients. So for all of you folks, which are like 95% of you, who are watching this video, who are not running the ads for the businesses and like just want to sell AI solutions because it's cool, these people who are good in their marketing capabilities, they know how to generate the leads, they know how to generate the demand, they are going to buy the system like ours, or they're gonna spend 3-4 months figuring it out themselves. So when they are going to pitch the solution to the business, and it's already started to happen, I personally thought, honestly, that it's gonna take a bit longer, but we'll already see it. That the companies that are offering marketing services are gonna offer the AI as an add-on to their service, but not necessarily as an upsell, just as a way to deliver better leads to the businesses. So how the fuck you are going to compete with them when you're coming to the business and say, yeah, well, I mean, we are selling the engagement agent. Okay, but we are having the Facebook agency who is driving the leads. Now, so the majority of the agencies, the 99% of them, are just generating the traffic, basically. Same thing with the SEO. They're like boosting the SEO. They are boosting the campaign. They're moving the business higher on the maps ranking. But that's it. So there is a leverage. There is a way for you to come in and say, hey, my name is Eugene, and we're going to be able to help you to drive more revenue and increase the return on ad spend that you're already having by doing X, Y, and Z. But it's going to be harder for you to do because most of these agencies will already have or are planning to start using the AI as an additional service offerings that they're going to do. That is why you need to solve a core problem. So the core problem for this business is not following up with the leads. It's just generating the leads entirely. So when you're coming to the business and say, hey, we have the AI solution that is engaging with all the leads, qualifying, educating them, AI, etc. Sure, but who is generating this demand? And of course, you don't need to do that. You don't necessarily need to run the ads. I've been talking about this on my previous videos. And we are not running the ads for the businesses. But you need to be aware of the fact that the majority of the businesses are not going to be needing this part solution that fixes part of their problem. Because the problem is the full cycle lead handling and generation, from the demand to the booking or the visit. So you are competing with the agencies, existing agencies, who are having the robust solutions, building it ourselves or buying it from others, and then having this entire spectrum. So it's just for you to really deeply understand what the fuck are you trying to do in this industry. We are focusing personally within the one problem. The Quimple is different because the Quimple is doing more custom AI solutions, which eventually is going to be leading into and towards the outsource type of the development agency, which I'm probably going to quit anyways and will be done with this company, because this is not the business that I want to build. The business that I want to build is the business that solves the complete problem to the business, but partially. It cannot completely solve it because there's never enough leads. There is never enough conversions right here. So you can always improve, and the business will keep paying you money to show you better and better results. And I am not looking to build a software because the software is just another game. Maybe eventually I will transition into this industry, but I feel like it is harder. It is harder to make money selling the software to the businesses. Of course, you have the more enterprise value with the software, and it can potentially be solved, and you have the capitalization that you can operate on top of. But for now, I'm not in the position where I'm looking for the market cap of my company, but rather trying to build a positive cash flow business that will allow me to do whatever I want. And the best way of doing that is to build the productized service business. When we're focusing on the problem that will make business more money, but this problem cannot be fully solved. And this is all about either marketing or sales. We're focusing on the sales. That is why we're having our self-fulfilling funnel that we are using in our own business to generate the people that will buy then this, or the actual ROAS increase. But here we're of course aware that if we want to continue to grow, we'd probably want to cover the ads with our services. Sure, right now, as I said, most agencies don't do shit. They just get the ads going and that's it. But I'm thinking long term. I'm building the business that I want to rely on for the next 3, 5, 10 years, even though, of course, we don't know what's going to happen in 5 years within the AI industry, sure. But I am trying to think the long term. And this video was made for you to understand that there are infinite possibilities in this industry, but you really need to be smart with the way you're positioning inside. You need to be smart with the way you are thinking about presenting your offer to the business and the way you price it compared to the existing solutions that they're having for the problems that they are trying to solve. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.